Welcome to Breaking Financial Chains, where we combine practical money guidance with emotional healing to help you break free from financial limitations. I'm Tanya Ibberson, your financial wingwoman.
Hey, and welcome to this episode of my podcast, Breaking Financial Chains. I can't decide whether I'm feeling excited or a little bit nervous about this episode, but I am feeling quite feisty. So hang on to your hats. This episode is all about why you need to get a grip. You need to stop avoiding dealing with your finances. You need to stop avoiding your money. The system is not coming to save you. So you have no choice. You absolutely have to start taking control. This is not negotiable. This is not about your kids. This is about you. Absolutely all about you. We're in a time when not knowing your money situation is not just convenient, it's dangerous. It's something that's only ever going to go against you. Now, I'm not here to tell you off. I'm not here to scold you. I'm here to support. I'm here to highlight. I'm here to make this more part of the normal conversation. So we need to get real and let's zoom out. Let's zoom out for a second. We don't need statistics. We need real chat, real world commentary. You can add to this yourself. You can disagree. I don't care. This is my view. And this is why I think this is a really important conversation to have and why you need to stop thinking about it, why you need to stop avoiding it. You need to be doing the thing. You need to be taking action. This is not something that's negotiable anymore. Why do we need to do it? Well, cost of living, first of all. In 2025 at the moment, cost of living is absolutely sky high. Everything is increasing in price. Interest rates are starting to come down, but the cost of food is astronomical. Mortgages are astronomical thanks to the massive hike in interest rates last year, I believe it was, or perhaps the end of the year before. Rent is going up. Buying clothes, paying to eat out, everything is so much more expensive. And it's perfectly normal and expected. Everybody, even the people that have lots of money, in your view, it's easy to look at some people and go, well, it's all right for you. You've got plenty of money. They are feeling this too. I promise you. They are noticing the difference. Everybody is noticing the difference and feeling the pinch. People are stopping spending money. People are delaying spending money because of the sheer uncertainty of where we are economically as a society at the moment. This is the norm. This is not happening to you. This is happening to everybody. If you are self employed, making tax digital is coming. Now, there is a lot more in this. This is the accountant in me speaking now. There is a lot more in this than we perhaps want to admit. Um, Essentially, it doesn't matter if you choose not to understand what it costs to run your business, if you choose not to manage your money instead of if you choose to not manage your money and let the money manage you, it doesn't matter because there's going to be somebody out there that's going to know more than you about your spending and your money. Because making tax digital means the filing of taxes, the filing of your earnings is going to be happening a lot more frequently. So, most people are still in the dark about how this is going to impact them, including the professionals. We're starting to get more information now. We're starting to get more um, uploads from HMRC to explain how this is going to work, who this impacts. So there will be more and more information that is made available. And I will be sharing more and more information with my clients, both on the accounting side of my business and the coaching side of my business, if people need that. But essentially, from April 2026, making tax digital is going to come into effect. You will need some form of digital accountancy software bookkeeping solution to record your business. It will not be sufficient to have a spreadsheet or manual records anymore. You will need to file a simple tax return every quarter. You will not just be filing a tax return once a year. You will have to pay tax along with the filing of that tax return 4 times a year. So it's moving very similar to the system that we have at the moment. for filing regular VAT returns if you're on a quarterly submission protocol with HMRC. There's nothing you can do about it. It's been threatening to be in the works for years, at least 5 years. It may well move still. Who knows? It's changed a lot. The date that it's been coming in has changed a lot. However, at the moment, it's due to come into effect from April 2026. You need to get your stuff together. I knew before then, and I'm really, really trying not to make this podcast something that needs an explicit stamp on it. Time will tell if I can keep that up. The cashless society is very real. Everybody that's going out there and spending on their credit cards, spending on using Apple Pay from their phones, using their smartwatches to pay for things when you're out and about. You are removing the need for there to be the facility to take cash payments. We're using less cash as a society. It's a simple fact. But what that means is every move is tracked. We've got banking systems and intelligence systems that know exactly what you're spending money on, where you're spending it, how much of it you're spending it, how frequently you're buying the same things. And this is all giving more and more data all of the time. You might not have a handle on your spending, but trust me, so many more organizations out there do. So, would you rather they have it and you don't, or would you rather be in the know as well? As a result of this, making tax digital, the cashless society, everything being digital on bank card and on CCTV, privacy is shrinking. And on top of that, with the anti-money laundering regulations and corporate transparency and economic crime regulations that are coming into effect, when you're buying something unusual, or if you're spending over a certain amount of money, what you're going to start seeing a lot more frequently are triggers for fraud checks, or worse. I don't know if any of you have had experience of this yet. It's certainly been very common for things like buying property and buying land from a solicitor's point of view. But it might be that you've wanted to give your children money, or you've wanted to accept a gift of cash from your parents when you're purchasing a property. And all of a sudden, you've got all of these questions that you've got to answer, or questions that you've got to get mum and dad or family member to answer about what are the source of these funds? Where has this money come from? Where have you kept it? You need to provide bank statements to prove that this is something that you've had in savings for a certain amount of time. All of a sudden, the expectation is shifting from this is something that I've generated with my blood, sweat, and tears over the years, or something I've inherited because I've lost a loved one, and I would give every penny of it back if I could just spend another day with them. But the focal point is now changing and the authority to a place of if you can't prove where you've got that money from, you must have obtained it fraudulently or worse, criminally. Like if you can't prove where it's come from, you must have stolen it. Are you for real? However, that is very, very much the path that we're starting to walk down in this day and age. Add to that AI and automation shaking up jobs. Safety just isn't a thing that it used to be. There will always be a need for humans and people and personal interaction. An AI robot can't miss somebody, an AI robot can't feel. However, there are lots of jobs that are within automation in particular that are just not going to be needed to be taken by people. It's not the same safety that it once had to mean you have a job. The expectation of you keeping that job is shrinking. And what does that mean for us? If you don't take control of your money, someone else or something else will. Whether that's your partner through financial control, whether that's a government algorithm through the tracking of your spending and starting to draw conclusions from what a computer is saying that must mean about you as a person, or a credit card company and they start bombarding you with offers and wanting you to buy a certain type brand of incontinence pants or whatever it might be. I've been very, very flippant there, but obviously we were used to seeing this already with things like club card vouchers and Boots Advantage points, where at certain times in your life, if you're going into Boots and you're buying dummies and you're buying nappies for newborn babies, and they can start to draw conclusions of the part cycle of life that you're in as a new parent. Well, a year from now, you're going to need bigger nappies. A year from now, you're going to need bottles. You're going to need certain type of milk or food appropriate for a certain age of a child. And they start to promote and sell to you and give you vouchers for baby food and buying certain things and certain vitamins. Because heaven forbid, you're going to be a bad parent if you don't buy certain vitamins for your children's well-being. This is all taking information and data about us as people, and they're trying to put a spin on it as though they're being helpful. But what's actually happening is that people are learning more and more and more. Government computers, systems are learning more and more and more of us about people. And if you are still prepared to not deal with and handle your money and take control, things are about to feel even more out of control for you. I promise. So, I want to give you some examples, and I've written some examples down of how passive financial habits show up. You might relate to one of these, you might relate to all of these. I know I have been every single one of these women at some point in the past because we're human, because we are a product of our past. We are a product of the memories and the experiences and the feelings that we have around money and the habits that we've generated. It takes deliberate, conscious action to change what we've always done. And I know that isn't easy. It's not always easy. It's simple, but it's not easy, in the words of Mel Robbins. So it's something that we need to consciously want to do, and we need to consistently want to do it to be able to change the habits that we are um, doing, the things that we're doing in our everyday life. So, are you the avoider? Someone that doesn't check your bank balance, someone that doesn't check your credit card statements for spending, doesn't check the limits on where you're up to or how much you've got available to spend before you need to be making a payment. Ever. You don't ever check. You pay for things on cards and you just pray it doesn't bounce. Now, I used to be this person. I used to go on spending trips with my mum, with friends, and I will keep going until I got my card declined. It was a switch card back then in the day, or a credit card, and I would just keep going. And if it was accepted, then great, happy days. I've got myself a new handbag. Marvelous. But we're completely avoiding the situation that we're in currently. So that's something that we could perhaps change. Again, no judgment, no scolding, no talking down to you. This is me highlighting. This is what we have in front of us. Can you relate to being one of these types of people? And what could you then do to maybe change the narrative? What could you do to change your behavior? Are you the overspender? Do you buy to cope with a stressful life? Do you buy to cope with facing things from your past that you really don't want to be dealing with or processing? Do you say, I'll sort that next month, every single month, and that month never comes when you sort that out? Because we feel better when we have that new notebook or that bottle of wine or that takeaway. Maybe you're chasing the dopamine. Maybe you have ADHD. Also, me. Maybe we're looking to chase the things that make us feel good because that's far easier and nicer than facing up to the things that we would perhaps rather avoid doing. Are you the outsourcer? Are you someone that would rather someone else take care of it? Are you someone that says, this makes my brain feel like scrambled egg. I need you to take care of this for me. I don't understand it. It makes my brain hurt. Please take care of this for me and I will be forever grateful. Are you someone that says, my partner handles the money and thinks that this is a plan? Because it's not. It's not a plan. It's not a plan. It is deferring, it is disempowering, it is giving away your control. It needs to be something that we change. Are you the overthinker? Do we read all the articles, follow all the finance influencers? Do we think that something sounds like a good idea and think, oh my God, that could be the thing that completely changes the game for me? I'm going to go and buy a property, the worst house on the street, and I'm going to do it up with my own money that I don't have, but I'll figure that out later. And I'm going to sell it for a profit, and then I'm going to get a loan from the bank, the loan to value at 75%, and I'm going to buy another one and I'm going to build a property empire. I don't need to think about the reality of my situation. I'm going to daydream about what I could do because that's what I can see these people on Instagram are selling. And then you take zero action because it all feels too much. And I haven't got the money to do the renovations, and I don't know anybody that can do it for me. And I would just get ripped off, and therefore you talk yourself out of that course of action. Overthinking, very, very bad for our self esteem as well. Or are you the ostrich where we bury our heads in the sand? You know that there's debts, you're aware that there's disorganization and chaos, but you just don't look because it's too much. Because I've got work to do, and I've got housework to do, and I've got the kids' stuff to sort, and I've got my mum's birthday to think about coming up, and I need to think about what's going to happen with the kids in the school holidays because I'm still working, and I have to think about that the dishwasher leaking or it's not working properly, and we need to get that replaced. I can't afford that right now, and I don't know a trusted tradesman that could come and take a look at it for me. So, do I need to replace the dishwasher, or do I need to get someone to fix it? And on and on and on that story goes. Now, as I say, this is not something I'm using to beat you with. I've been every single one. And sometimes I am still this person. Sometimes I am that person that will come in from a stressful day or come down. I work from home. My office, this is it, this is in my home. I'm upstairs in my house at the moment. If I have a stressful day or I've hit a target that I've half killed myself to make that deadline, and I go downstairs and pour myself a glass of wine. A regular thing used to be I will come in from work, I would still have my coat and my high heels on. I would still have my briefcase or portfolio in my hand. I would set my youngest to do something. I would put the TV on for her to keep her quiet, and I would pour myself a glass of wine before I'd even taken my shoes off. That was me. I used to drink wine. I used to put a sticking plaster on the worries because when I had a glass of wine, the noise in my head calmed down or stopped entirely, which is even better. And my life was easier and quieter, and I didn't have to worry. And it meant I would then sleep. That doesn't mean I was addictive to alcohol. That means I had some very, very unhealthy coping strategies, and sometimes I still have them because I'm human, and that's okay. I've been every single one of these. I hope you can relate to some of these. Please know this is normal. There is nothing wrong with you. This is about awareness. This is about being curious. And when we know that we're doing certain things, we can make a choice. Do you know what? I'm really happy buying moleskin notebooks on Amazon. Leave me alone. Great. Carry on doing that if that's what makes you happy. If it's something that's making you feel uneasy, though, now is the time to start thinking about how you could do things differently. Now is the time to get a grip. Now is the time to start to make some changes. And what does that look like? Well, it looks like knowing your numbers, not to scare you, but we can start small. We can start with what income have you got coming in? What are your outgoings? How much debt do you have? How much do you have in savings? Just knowing that as a starting point. That is a for now, not forever position that you are in control of what happens next. Getting to grip means tracking your spending. I'm not suggesting that you have an all singing, all dancing budget, but understanding where your money goes, not to shame, but to understand. This is what my lifestyle costs. Is there anything I can do to change it? That doesn't necessarily mean you have to take a machete to your spending. It might mean, with the realization of what things cost, if you're self employed, if you haven't put your prices up anytime recently, only just for inflation, do that. Ask for the pay rise. Look at the responsibilities you have in your job. And when was the last time that you got any sort of increase in how much you were paid? Getting a grip means checking your statements. What if you've been a victim to fraud and you're not even aware? What if you've got some sort of invisible drain, such as subscriptions that you're paying for and you're not using because you've forgotten to cancel it after the 14-day free period on an app that promised to revolutionize your life on your phone and you've just forgotten about it because life gets in the way? Going through looking at what you're spending can be a hugely empowering exercise because you can go through and cancel all of those things that you no longer need to be paying for anymore. Check it. Let me know how it goes. not to beat yourself up, but just to see what you can change that can positively impact you. Getting a grip means having a safety net, even if it's just £100 tucked away, to build confidence, to show you that you can save, so that you have an amount of money there sitting to one side if you have a true emergency, if the car needs servicing, if you need new tyres on the car, if the boiler needs repairing. And it's always going to be the first time you turn the boiler on at the in autumn when the temperature starts to drop, that you've got the money there to pay for it and you don't have to think about which credit card you're going to put that expense on. Start small, literally £5 a week, £10 a month, whatever the amount is. Prove to yourself you can make a promise in relation to money and you can keep it. Understanding how money flows into your life, not judging it at all, observing where does your money come from? Are people paying you on time, particularly if you're self-employed? What patterns are they pushing onto you? It's not your responsibility if people are having cash flow issues. You need to manage your cash flow, and boundaries are super, super important, particularly with self-employment. If you don't know what's coming in or going out, how can you make decisions from a place of power? How do you know if you can afford that holiday? How do you know if you can afford to pay for a school trip for your kids? How do you know any of the things if you don't know what you've got coming in and you don't know what you've got going out? Puts you in a very, very difficult position, and it can get worse as well. So talking about the whole nanny state, the whole big brother, particularly looking at things in the UK, but this is worldwide as well. But there are consequences that of the way that you might feel if we don't do this. So you can choose to continue to ignore it. You can choose to continue doing what you've always done. But we could avoid that "I don't know how I got here" panic when there's just too much month left at the end of the money. We can avoid missing a payment on a credit card, which means wrecking your credit score over £9.99 or a £50 minimum payment on something. It means that you're forced to stay in a job or a relationship out of financial fear because you don't understand actually you do have the means to leave. If you were to reduce other spending and after that pay rise, you could have enough to cover the rent. You could have enough to make a new start for yourself. But you don't make that move because the assumption is, I don't know how to manage my money. My other half has always done that. You just might if you looked. Another consequence is your kids watching you panic every time the card machine beeps or you've got a decline payment. And that then instills the fear into them as well, and understanding that when we use the plastic, mummy gets scared and mummy's unhappy and mummy gets in the car and cries and she thinks we can't see that we do because kids are so insightful. Listen, this isn't about being perfect. This isn't about getting it right. This isn't about ticking every single box because somebody like me tells you that you should. This is about being aware. That's it. Being aware, getting curious, thinking about what's coming up. So there are some practical starting points that we can put in place, and I would encourage you to just pick one. Pick one. What's the easiest one that you could do and you could tick off and do this for you? Because the antidote to panic is planning. And this could be you, just understanding and knowing. I have got a great example of a client of mine who struggles with the VAT bill that comes out every quarter. It's a big bill. She always gets caught short and she can't understand why. If you're self employed, you're running your own company, and you're VAT registered, you have to save for that money because the VAT that you earn for your business is not your money. It is the taxman's money. But if you spend everything that's in the account because it's there, you're leaving yourself disadvantaged. You're leaving yourself massively short. So I help support her by setting up a client account. She sends me regular savings from the money that she earns to put aside for her VAT bill. And every quarter, I send her the money to cover her VAT bill in full. It's as simple as that. And it's completely changed her outlook and the view on how she manages her money. You could ask for that help as well. If you have an accountant, ask for that help with the service. Ask for that help with a trusted friend or a family member. Log into your banking app and check every transaction in the last 3 days. Just look at it. Don't judge yourself. This is not a stick to beat yourself with. This is an observing exercise. How much do you spend? Have a look. That's it. Tick that task off once you've done that for 3 days. Just 3 days. Another task. Pick one. Start this week. Write out your regular monthly bills. How much are you spending on your regular bills? And do you know what days of the month they actually come out? So you need to know that you've got enough money in the bank each month to cover those payments that are coming out. That could be the council tax, the water rates, your mortgage, your rent, your Netflix subscription, your mobile phone bill every month, paying for the kids' school lunches or school trips. Do you know when they come out? Here's a big one, a little bit of a spicy challenge. Open the last envelope that you received from the bank. Could you do it? Open a brown envelope that you've received from HMRC. No judgment, just open it. Open it and look. What does it say? What does it tell you? What could you learn? Another thing that you could do, start a money notes folder in your phone and record every spend for the next 3 days. Instead of just looking at your bank statements, maybe you could then progress to how much you spent, write it down. Conscious awareness. Every time I spend money, I want to write it down. Do you know what? That habit might just make you think twice before you spend the next time. Or it just gives you information about this is how much money I need in my budget because this is how much I'm spending on a regular basis. Not a full spreadsheet, doesn't need to be color coded with complicated formulas. Just pick one task at a time, give it a go. Write it down on a post-it with a pen if that's easier for you. Write it down however you see fit. Get yourself a new notebook. If you have a business, that would be tax deductible expense, cost as stationery, and write it down. If you feel so moved, I would also invite you to reflect on a prompt. If journaling is your thing, give this a go. But I would like you to think about where in your life have you handed over responsibility in relation to money? Where have you given financial responsibility away to someone else? And what would it look like to take just one piece of it back? Think about this for yourself. Sit quietly, get yourself a nice cuppa, sit and look out at the view in the back garden or wherever makes you happy. What would it look like to take just one piece back? I would love to hear from you if you've got some insights. You don't need to know everything. You just need to stop pretending that it's not happening because it is. It's happening regardless. This isn't about shame. You deserve to feel secure, calm, and in control. And that starts with looking and being curious. Even if it's messy, even if it's scary, the moment you choose to get a grip is the moment that everything changes. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to seeing you on the next podcast episode.
Thank you for joining me today on Breaking Financial Chains. Remember, you have the power to transform your relationship with money one step at a time. If this episode helped you, please subscribe and leave a review to help others find their path to financial freedom. I'm Tanya, your financial wing woman, and I'll see you next week.